Scalar multiplication of vectors is a key concept in vectors, and if you don't understand what it actually does, you'll struggle with direction, magnitude, and interpreting vector equations correctly. For example, many students see something like 3a and only multiply the numbers without understanding that the vector becomes 3 times longer while keeping the same direction. Even worse, if the scalar is negative, like negative 2a, students often miss that the direction reverses completely, which leads to incorrect diagrams and answers. In this video, I'm going to clearly explain how scalar multiplication affects both the magnitude and direction of a vector, how to apply it to vector components, and how to avoid the common mistakes that cost marks in exam questions. So, we have our first worked example, 2, 3, and our k is going to be equal to 2. So our k is going to be our scalar quantity, which we are multiplying by v. Okay, so let's say that in the algebraic method, if we were to do 2v, we have to multiply each component. So this would be the I component first, and then the j component. Okay, plus 3j. And then when we multiply that through, that's going to give us 4i plus 6j. Okay, so in terms of the initial magnitude, remember that the initial magnitude, or the magnitude to find that, is going to be the square root of 2 squared plus 3 squared, or our x component squared plus our y component squared, all in square root. It's going to be equal to 4 plus 9 is equal to square root of 13. Okay? Our scaled magnitude, however, is going to be 2 times that. Okay? And we can also confirm that's going to be square root of 4 squared, which is our x or I component, and then our y or j component is going to be 6. So we're going to square that and add that under a square root. So it's going to give us 16 plus 36 is equal to square root of 52, which is 2 square root of 13. Okay, and so we can clearly see that when we are doing a scalar value for our vector, our magnitude is also going to be applied to that by that scalar. Okay, so you can see here that if we take 2 times vector v, then the initial magnitude is going to increase by 2 because we are essentially scaling the vector by 2, all right, here. And so our magnitude is also going to be scaled by 2. Now in terms of the directional effect, it's going to be in the same direction. Okay, just longer, right? And the reason for that is because our k scalar value is greater than 0, or in other words, it's positive. Okay, so in terms of geometric interpretation, we have 2, 3. So this would be our vector, our initial vector. Okay, and I'm drawing an arrow towards there. Now our new vector, which I'll draw in orange, is going to be 4, 6. So that's going to be 4, that's 6. So if I draw that vector, you can see that it's essentially double the length, same direction, and that is going to be our answer there. All right. So question 2. Now we have a vector that is I minus 4j, okay, because our x component or the I component is 1, and our j component is -4, our y component. So in this case, when we do -3, which is the scalar quantity we're multiplying by v, we're going to multiply each value in our original initial vector by -3. So that's going to give us -3i plus 12j. Okay, so our initial magnitude is going to be the square root of 1 squared plus -4 squared, right, which just give us square root of 17. Now when we do the scaled magnitude for our new scalar vector, then we have to do the square root of -3 squared plus 12 squared, which will give us square root of 9 plus 144, which is square root of 153, which in this case would be 3 times the square root of 17, okay? Because we can divide 153 by 9 perfectly, which will give us 17, okay? So what I've done here is I've done this, break down the square root of 153 into square root of 9 times 17, and then square root of 9 is going to be 3, and then square root of 17 is what's left over. So you can clearly see here that magnitude is not affected by direction or any negatives. If I'm multiplying a scalar quantity by my vector, only the magnitude of that scalar quantity is affecting the vector. So notice our initial magnitude was square root of 17. Our new scaled magnitude is going to be 3 times square root of 17, or our initial magnitude here, okay? So whenever we're multiplying by a scalar value, we only take the positive or the magnitude of that scalar value, and that's going to be the effect on our scaled magnitude. So essentially it will always just change the length and not the direction. However, in terms of our directional effect, because k is less than 0, okay, it is -3, that's less than 0, then our directional effect is going to be the opposite direction. Okay, and we can see that geometrically as well. I just show you. So our original vector was 1, -4. Okay, and our new vector, -3, 12. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 12 is going to be up here, so that's going to be somewhere there. You can see that we are essentially going in the opposite direction now, and we have scaled up our length by 3, okay? So, worked example 3, I have a scalar quantity which is now a fraction, okay? That's less than 1. So let's see how this works. So let's take a half times our vector. So each component, again, is going to be halved or multiplied by that scalar quantity, which is k. So it's going to give me 3i plus 4j, okay? So my original length is going to be the magnitude of this original vector here, v. So that's 6 squared plus 8 squared. It's going to be square root of 36 plus 64, which is square root of 100, which is 10. Now my new length, okay, if I take my x component or I component and then y component or j component, it's going to be square root of 3 squared plus 4 squared, okay, which is equal to square root of 9 plus 16 equals square root of 25 equals 5. Now notice, again, it's that scalar quantity which is affecting our length or the magnitude. Okay, so 10 is equal to half of 10 is equal to 5, and that's how we get our new length, okay? Because we are multiplying our original vector, or with the original length of 10, by a scalar quantity that is half, and that's why we are going to get our new length, which is going to be half of the original vector. Okay? So in terms of our geometric interpretation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 here, and then let's say that we're going up in 2, so 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 is here. Okay, so this is my original vector, right? If I take my new vector, once I've multiplied by the scalar quantity half, I'm going to be left with 3, 4. So I'm going to draw in a different color because it's overlapping. So in orange here, we can see this is our new length. Okay, and it's obviously half the length of what I originally had. Okay. All right. So let's practice now. So we have a scalar quantity 2, so k equals 2, and then our vector here, our original vector is 3, 5. So that's simply going to be 6, 10. Okay, I'm multiplying by 2 on each quantity of my vector, all right? Or we can rewrite that as 6i plus 10j, okay? So our direction is constant, okay, because my k is greater than 0, right? The length has doubled, okay, or times by 2 because of our scalar quantity being 2. And we can also show that geometrically as well, but I won't do that in this example. Okay, again, I'm multiplying 3 by each of my components, so that's going to give me 3 and negative 6, okay? So that's pretty similar to the previous question. Right, now this one, always got to be careful with my negatives here, right? Because that's where most people lose marks. So it's going to be negative 8, comma, and then negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6, okay? So note here, if I were to just pinpoint which quadrant my original vector would be, it would be positive x, so 4, and then negative 3 would be somewhere down here, okay? So that would be my vector. However, now that I have a negative k value, so k is less than 0, because k is negative 2, which is less than 0, I'm going to be going the opposite direction, and so I'm going to be in the opposite quadrant, which is negative 8, so somewhere on the negative x-axis, and then positive y, so it's going to be somewhere here, right? And my magnitude is going to double in length, right? Because I have the 2 at the front here as my number. Okay, so that's just a rough sketch. So remember, I'm in opposite direction. There. Okay. Right, and similarly, just like in a previous question where we were halving, we just got to do half times 8, which is 4, and then half times 6, which is 3. Okay, so it's going to be 4i plus 3j. All right, so now this is involving a couple of skills here. So if I have a k, which is my scalar quantity multiplied by this vector 2, 3, and that's equal to 6, 9, I need to equate these two vectors together, okay? So I have an I component and a j component on every single vector I have on both the left and right side here, okay? And they need to be balanced. That's why we have a balancing scale here. So essentially what I'm doing now is that for my I component, on the left side, it's going to be 2k. And that needs to be equal to the right-hand side vector as well. So that's going to be equal to 6. Okay, my k is equal to 3. And I can also confirm that with testing my j components. So this was testing my I components. Now let's test our j components. So 3j, 3k equals 9. So k is also equal to 3. Okay, so we can confirm now using both our I and j components that k has to equal 3. Right. So again, this is sort of like using algebra now. So 3v will just be multiplying each component there, right? So that's going to be equal to 3x, comma 3y. Okay, we are just changing the scalar quantity or the number within each component. Right, so this is our exit question. If v is equal to 3 comma negative 2, then find negative 4v. Okay, and we need to have both an algebraic solution and a geometric solution. So for our algebraic, let's do negative 4v is equal to negative 4, and then substitute my v in here. So 3 comma negative 2. I'm going to convert these into I and j components, because that's how we represent it algebraically. And then we're going to multiply negative 4 by each of our components, so negative 12i plus 8j. Okay, so geometrically, if I were to just draw it here, I have my original vector, which is 3, negative 2. So that would be here. Okay, my new vector, negative 4v, is going to be negative 12, 8. It's approximately going to be there. All right, so we can clearly see what the geometric interpretation of this is. We are in opposite directions, and a magnitude or length 4 times longer. Okay, so if we compare my orange distance here to my green distance here, you can see that the orange length is going to be 4 times the green length. Okay, because my green is my initial vector length, and then but my orange is going to be my new length when I multiply by a scalar quantity that has 4. Okay, and it's negative, so that indicates simply just opposite direction. Right, and so that's it. So I hope that helped, and thanks for watching.